This week's episode is sponsored by Zorb Events Limited. They provide Zorb football, battle tag archery, UV dodgeball, sports days events, inflatable assault courses, plus many more activities coming soon. Ideal for sports teams, presentations, birthday parties, stag and hen parties, corporate events, school, and half-term summer camps, any occasions. Give them a follow and use the code The Good, The Bad and The Ugly Podcast for 10% off your first booking. The Good, The Bad and The Ugly Podcast with Tony Morell. Welcome to the Good, The Bad, The Ugly Podcast with me, Tony Morell, and this week's special guest is Brad Robinson. Really looking forward to you sharing the good, the bad and the ugly with us, Brad. How are we, mate?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm okay. It's good to be on the show, mate. It really is.
Appreciate it, mate. And like I say, we've been speaking for a while and stuff, and we've become really good friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just watched the game together there, which let's spoke about.
Good result, actually.
It was a good result for you. Running out 3-0 winners, and that I think that goal from Garnacho there is probably one of the best goals I've seen live, if I'm going to be honest, even though it's his shin, but yeah, we've just watched the game together there.
Brilliant, mate. This is what it's about, innit? You know, we have become really good friends. You know, I've reached out to you a bit ago, and you come and did a talk for me and my group, and then ever since then we've been in contact more or less every other day, haven't we?
That's it, mate. And you know what? It's nice. You know, we didn't know each other from Adam or Eve, and I think, you know, we both sort of, you know, with what's going on in society today, and you reached out, and I know when we just caught up, and I was honoured to come up and speak to your group and stuff, which we'll obviously speak about on the podcast. But you know, like with all our guests, I want to just like start from like where you grew up, where you're from, family life and school life and stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up in Failsworth. I'm 28 years old. I'm an only child, got no brothers or sisters. Come from a big family. I think I've got 33 cousins on my mum's side and 14 on my dad's. Growing up was great. My mum and dad give me anything I wanted. I wanted something to go out and buy it me, and it was stuff like that. It was good. And then growing up, I went to Failsworth High School. Believe it or not, I was good up to year 9, and then as soon as year 9 come, hanging around with the wrong people, making the wrong choices, and then that's when the bad habits start kicking in. Then
so what was school? I mean, secondary school, is that?
So yeah, secondary school. Yeah, it was good. It was good growing up to year 9, and I was Oldham School's high jump champion. You know, because I'm tall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I won the Oldham. I come first in the Oldham competition, and then I represented Manchester, and I think it was 4th out of 21 in all of Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and apart from that, I was doing all right, and then,
like you say, year 9 onwards, it sort of
spiraled out of control.
Yeah, listen, I think it happens with a lot of people. You know, like you get into secondary school, and you think you know it all when you're at that age, don't you? You know, your mum, your dad are telling you, and whatever they're telling you to do, you do the opposite. And
absolutely.
And I think it's just not yourself. I think a lot of people have been through that as we get older now. You sort of look back on life and you think, them decisions I made as a kid and stuff. And
absolutely. And then growing up, fast forward in a few more years, I was a glass collector at the pub called the Street Bridge. You know, and I was 16 there, getting a bit of extra money for the weekends. I was noticing everyone, you know, drunk and off their heads on drugs all the time. I thought, you know, I wouldn't want to be like them. Oh, look at the state of them and all that.
Yeah.
And then the money for what I was earning from that job, that was what was paying for my beer money. Then I started drinking at the age of 16.
Yeah. Was you doing any hobbies when you got to that age? Was you playing football or anything? The high jump stuff and all that?
I was playing football, and I'm into my motocross as well, so I was doing that. And obviously, with things with me, I used to get bored easy.
Yeah.
Nothing was ever enough growing up. I just used to have,
you'd have a go with the boxing or the football, the crosses and all that, and then
I get bored. And then obviously, when you're growing up, you're in school, you're with people. Oh, come out on the weekend, come on, we'll do this, that, and the other. And before you know it, when the
Everything
drinking starts.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you. Obviously, how old was you when you started drinking and stuff? So what, 16 was it?
16 when I first started drinking, and when I first ever tried a substance, I was 16. And, you know, I had it under control. I was going out on the weekends and all that. Being a bit of a jack the lad, you know, going out with all the pretty birds in school.
Yeah,
and that, like you do.
You have no problems getting into clubs and stuff. And that.
No, I know. I was going out in clubs when I was 16 and all that. And, you know, then that's when the trouble starts then. Hanging around with the wrong people, getting arrested, doing the wrong things. And it just carried on and carried on. And I'm going to fast forward a few years here. So something happened to me when I was younger. I was 7. I was sexually abused when I was 7, and I didn't look into it too much. I really didn't look into it too much. Somebody used to make me perform acts on another person. A man used to make me perform acts on another person when I was younger, growing up. And ever since that, of like growing up, I was always questioning my sexuality because someone made me do it to another man. I was thinking, is this right? Because I didn't know.
Because you were a kid. You're not.
No.
How do you know?
So the feelings what I was experiencing and stuff like that, I didn't know. And then in school, I never used to want to do PE. Or like in the toilets, I go in the cubicles because I didn't
change in front of people.
I couldn't get changed in front of people, and it was like, and I was like, what's wrong with me? Why is?
And you hadn't told your mum or dad or anything?
No, but I've not told didn't tell anyone. And then obviously, like, started lashing out. Then started being horrible to people because I was just so confused and frustrated with what's been going on in my life.
Because you couldn't get your head around it.
I couldn't. I did not know what I thought. Oh, if they've done it to me, and it must have happened to somebody else. You know what I mean? And then the years started going on, and then I got a job. I was a welder, and a welder and a fabricator. 16 after I left the pub, and I was up. What was I on about? £2.66 an hour, £100 a week, and yeah, I was just doing through that, and on the weekends, I was getting off my head every weekend, and then that's where it started for me, really.
You think, obviously, when the weekends and stuff, you're drinking and substance, using substances or whatever, it's what you kept to yourself. It probably, it'd been put away. You'd put it in that, open the door, put it away. But then as you were getting older and stuff, and like you're saying, you were lashing out, you were doing silly things, and but obviously you hadn't confined, and no one hadn't spoke to your mum or dad or anything.
No, what I thought was the drink and the substances was
coping.
It'd block it away. The coping mechanism. I thought every time I drank or used, it'd block it all out. It would, and then a few days after, then I start thinking again. And it would just be that trying to block it out constantly.
I've got to drink or do whatever. Yeah, just take this away from.
It was the worst feeling ever. And obviously, like, I know what you've experienced.
We've had the similar situation happen, and it's like you do tend to drink and a coping mechanism, whether it be substance abuse or whether people take tablets or whatever to sleep, but then the next day when you wake up, the pain's still there, but it'll be 10 times worse because you're thinking about it and you're dwelling on things, and then like you're saying, at that young age you're dealing with that.
Yeah,
I mean, and now it's like, in what you're doing with your life now, which we're going to get onto, and we're going to turn, a negative into a positive later on when we speak about it. But is that how you were just coping, really?
My mum and dad was like, when they used to come in and stuff like that, and they'd just see me ballooning, what's up with you? But I was screaming. I wanted to tell him, you shouldn't be behaving like this. What's going on and all that. And I wanted to. I was so frightened of telling him, and I couldn't tell him. And then, like, growing up, it got me a bit like then. Growing up, when I was around 18, that's when I first tried killing myself. Went to the motorway bridge, and walking. It was hammering it down. And the top bar on the motorway. Walking across it with my arms out, straight across it.
Was you under the influence of drinking?
Yeah. I was under the influence. And then a couple drove past, and then they span back round, and then they screaming. And there was a person, what they call them people that try and calm you down.
A negotiator.
There was a negotiator there, and they were speaking to me, So I got down from the top bit and I was on just, on the actual other side of the fence. And one of them said something and someone come behind me and grabbed me. Distracted me and
Just
grabbed
above the motorway, was
I was
it?
above it.
Motorway closed off.
So everything was closed
All
off.
at a standstill. And
Yeah, so someone grabbed me and then they lifted me over and they put me into, it was like a Land Rover police car. And I just remember I was sat in the back and my mum's head popped up, at the side window. It's like heartbroken. They didn't lock the doors, did they? So I opened it, ran up to the bridge and got back on again. And then this time they had to, it was awful. Then I got took to Park House, mental hospital. And there's a bed that monitors you. Like all your breathing and stuff like that. They put me on there and they was monitoring me. And then same again, next day, I was all right. I was sober. I'm not going to do it again. All them false promises, to everyone. Yeah, I won't drink again. I'm done with all that. Weekend come again, I'll be bang at it again.
Mm.
It would just be a constant cycle of doing the same thing.
I mean, Brad, I've lost a couple of people to, taking their own lives, like friends and relatives and stuff, and it's devastating. I mean, your mum, your dad, family, obviously, you'll only know.
Yeah.
That must make you feel. Did you think that was the only way out? But trying not to speak out and just
that's all that I thought would get rid of this pain was killing myself. But nobody gives a shit about me. The best thing for me to do is kill myself, and that used to be in my head 24/7. The minute I open my eyes, the minute I shut my eyes, that's what used to be in my head all the time. And it's quite sad. It really is quite sad. So then a few years pass again, and then I remember once I was out with my dad having a beer and that. We come home and someone said something to me in the pub. Said, "Your Brad's off his head in there." We was arguing because the pub was at the top of our street, so we was arguing all the way back round to the house. And then out of nowhere went solar light, smashed the solar light on the floor, the metal bit, boom, popped him in his face. And do you know what? I don't even remember doing it. Don't even remember doing it.
Yeah. It's like you say, it's, your life, you're out of control and you can't remember it, and you're thinking, it's your dad, and then you think, what I've done here, do you know what I mean?
But I didn't remember a thing. Then I got remanded in Ashton police station. They charged me again, but they kept me in there. And they're saying, so was it there? They said, yeah, your dad's got half his face missing and all that. And I'm thinking, full of shit. No, I don't believe this. And they show me a picture of it.
And that's when it hits home.
Just seeing my dad in, with the hospital robe thing on, and it was just blood all there. He had 33 stitches and plastic surgery in his face. And then that's when it hit me. And I was just thought, what have I done?
Yeah.
What have I done?
And another thing,
and it's
your dad, and it's, but it could have been a lot worse, Brad, a couple of inches lower, you could have killed him.
I know I could have, and
you wouldn't be sitting here now, you'd be fucking...
That's a scary thing, because every time I went out, I was always up for it, ready for it, anything,
We get a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, all the time. I'd constantly walk around with a lighter in my hand. And I've missed something happened before that. I'll go into that in a minute.
Yeah.
So have a lighter in my hand ready for it, because of the impact, if someone started just to hit them, it make your hand. That's what everyone said.
Yeah,
I
get what you mean. Yeah.
So going back to what I was talking about, then I got jumped in a nightclub called Bowlers. You know where Bowlers is? Yeah,
Bowlers in Manchester.
Yeah, knuckle duster. Two kids had knuckle dusters, and they just hit me both sides, broke both sides of my jaw. So I've got 3 plates there and 2 plates there and 13 pins. And ever since then, that's when the paranoia started as well.
You were on edge because you're thinking someone put it on you or steal it on you or whatever.
Yeah, and then just like going back to that, it's like,
And you're dealing with other shit as well, which
everything. It seemed like everything was just going and going and going and going and going. And I just knew I was ready. I was just about to just...
You were ready to explode.
Mate. And then all this happened with the police, and went to court with my mum, because I wasn't allowed home, wasn't allowed to see any of my family over Christmas. I got moved away
They didn't remind you, they released you.
They released me, and after they reminded me, they let me out. And then they said, right, part of your conditions, you're not allowed home. So I had to spend Christmas away from my family. And I was like, but I tried ringing my dad. And I said, Dad, please, I've got nowhere to go. After I've just done that to him, thinking he'd say, yeah, come home, son, come home. He said, nope, sorry, son, boom, phone down. And then...
How did that feel, Brad, if you don't...
Having my own father cut me off, it was awful.
Christmas time.
But me being me, as selfish as I was, I made it all about me.
Tried to turn it.
Yeah, you fucking not even letting your own son home, not letting it. But that's what it was like all the time. It was all about me.
Yeah,
everything was about me, you know, because I was in the wrong. It was just, and that's how it would keep going on.
And at that time, over the Christmas period, where you obviously made the phone call, and then your dad fellas put the phone down on you, you're probably like, was you still drinking?
Bad, mate. Bad.
Because that's the way to. That's how you.
That's how I cope with everything. That's all I've ever like. That's all I ever managed to cope with things with drinking.
And like a lot of people, that, you know, everyone's different. Everyone tries and deals with it. And, you know, you're big enough and honest enough to open up and like you say it was false promises. And so a lot of people, I never done wrong, and I never. You're big enough to come on here and speak openly about it. And your story, there's probably somebody out there who's now in the exact same position of what you've been in, and maybe them watching this, they come across it and they can relate to your story, or like a mother or father are having problems with the sons or the daughters, or you know, there's a relation in the family where they can go, look at this lad, look at this fella here, same situation, you know, drinking, using substances, doing whatever. You know, look, there is a way out. You know what I mean? But you've got to own it, and you've got to.
That's why I'm doing everything what I'm doing now as well. Just for that exact reason. But yeah, going back onto that then. So obviously after that happened with my dad, still bad on it. And then when was it? 2018, I got introduced to a rehab in Hyde. You know, and that's where I met Emma. And you know what? It was hard. I did 4 months in there.
Yeah.
And me being me, when I first walked in, I didn't expect. I just thought, you know, rehab's all where you're in like an hospital bed, you got a telly, you got your phone, you're doing whatever. I didn't realise how hard it was. So I walked in, and there's a counsellor called Andrew. I wrote him a list. I put radio, phone, CD play, you know, all this list. He said, can you get us that, please? And I want it now. He went, fuck off. And I thought, right, this is where it starts. And then went into group.
Did you think it was going to be that easy?
I thought it was that easy. So I went into every day you did groups. You sit in a circle, and it's intense. It is intense.
Do you know what? I mean, we had he's a good friend. He's a great lad. We had Keelan Densmore on one of our earlier episodes. Exactly the same rehab. He went to a rehab in Luton.
Yeah.
The bottom end of the country. And he said, like, you know, he got there and he was like, you know, his mum and his granddad took him and stuff. And he got there and he said he looked in the mirror, like, in the fucking rehab, and he said, wow.
Yeah.
And his mum said, like, come and get me, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, no, you've got to do this. You've got to.
And
it's that, you know, it's like, obviously, you know, might be the other side of Manchester from where he was, but he was like the bottom end of, like, he was in Luton. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And his story's unbelievable, and it's you know, it's great to see that he come up the other side. But, so you're in this rehab. You've met Emma. I've met Emma. She's a great girl. She's had there. She's given me a bit of grief today over the football and that. She's not stopped giving me a bit of shit.
Believe it or not, she was going to turn up here in United.
She would have to sit outside if she would have, but no, she's and he told me the story of actually when you actually met.
Yeah. So we did when we was in the rehab. So every they let you settle in for 2 weeks, but what say it's like let you settle in, it's fucking hard work. So they give you a life story to write. You have to write a life story about your life. You know,
to share it within the group, yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. Then obviously you share your life story, and then you start getting letters off your family, what you've put them through. And you've got to read it out in front of everyone. And that was the first time that I broke down and cried since I started drinking. It was just all bottled up inside me, and I let it all go. You know, when I come out of there, I went into secondary housing. They look after you. They put you into they like wind you back into the community slowly.
Yeah, yeah.
You're in the bubble in there. You're nice and safe.
Letting you off a leash a little bit.
Yeah. So they did that, and then me being me. Oh, I know best. Go back. I'll go back. I'll move back to my mum and dad's. Manipulated my mum and dad. Said, "Yeah, it's fucking shit. It's better at home." Mum and dad was like, "Oh, come on, son, you can come home." And I did. And then before you know it, 9 months, going in the pubs with my old mates, playing pool. Well, I thought I was just playing pool. I was just preparing myself for my relapse. That's what I was doing.
Was you going in? Was you having your orange and soda or your Coke?
Yeah.
Orange and sodas.
I was just preparing myself more for my relapse every time.
You're building up.
Yeah, and then I relapsed, and then ended up going back in there in 2020. You can imagine what that was like. But I got like at the end of the meeting, you do the Serenity Prayer. Where you all hold hands and say the Serenity Prayer. Well, me, I got it tattooed on my arm. Walked in, one of the counsellors says, "Fucking hell, here he is, Mr. Recovery." What's that tattoo for? To tell all the women how spiritually well you are. Get in group, dickhead.
Just know what's the name about it. Just
yeah. So then you can imagine what it was like in there.
But you know, going back to like when you said you were building up for that, like that ready to. When you relapsed, what did you at the time? What can you remember? Just a fucking bevy or whatever it was.
Believe it or not, the first time, like when I first relapsed, I was all right. I was in bed. Went had a beer and I went home, got in bed. And the next time, and the time after that, it just gets fucking worse. And it's just you trick yourself. You do. You trick.
Did you have
yourself.
like a little thing on your shoulder telling you?
Yeah, the good and the bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bad was winning all the time then.
Like telling you the ear to ear, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first time you had one. Oh, we can do this. Went home.
Yeah, went home and then it tricked me then.
Oh, I can do this.
Yeah, and then it's not. It just gets worse and worse. But then once my head tells me I'm doing something wrong, then I cut all the good people out of my life. I start surrounding myself with the bad people because they won't tell me when I'm doing.
Well, this is what I was going to say to you. Your friends and people you have around you, maybe your fucking mates. They'd say, "Yeah, what are you doing?" They'd take the drink out your hand or whatever you were doing. They'd be like, "Listen, you're taking the piss here. Look where you've been. Look what you put people through." That's a proper mate.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
And there was none of that except from certain people.
Yeah.
But I cut them off because I knew they would do that. And there was people who I thought were mates. It really wasn't mates. They were just feeding me.
Yeah, associates and stuff. And I was speaking to you before we came, we started recording and that, and that's what sometimes people do. They latch on and then the next thing, you your mates or whatever, you party and you're doing whatever, everyone's your mate, everyone's all that. Until it all starts or it all runs out or anything or whatever. And
that's going back to school as well. That's what it was like in school. I wanted to make everyone laugh. I wanted to be Jack the Lad like I did at the parties because I thought if I make people laugh, and they'll like me then, won't they? And they'll never want me to. Yeah. And it was just fucking. But I was always the last one standing. And I just go. I could never. Everyone else. It wasn't enough. Home. No, it wasn't. No. And I used to think to myself, But once you go in rehab and you got a belly full of recovery, and you go back out there, it's awful because you shouldn't be doing it, and you're fighting against your own mind even more. And I've got all the stuff going on what I've not opened up about when I was younger.
Yeah.
So it's just added more stress, and it was fucking.
While in rehab, you didn't open up about anything.
No, I went in twice. Didn't even open up twice in rehab because I was scared of letting it out. Because my head used to say to me, if you tell people, people won't believe you because of the past you've lived and stuff like that. So, but that's what I used to tell myself all the time. I thought no one's going to believe me.
Yourself.
Yeah, no one's going to believe me. I'm a pisshead.
Yeah.
And then that's why I never opened up about it. And it's just, it's sad. I wish I would have got rid of it years and years ago. I really do, because maybe I wouldn't have put myself through as much pain as what I put myself through. Yeah. And other people.
And your mum, your dad.
Yeah, my family.
Your family, yeah.
Yeah.
So, obviously, from there, you went back into rehab, did you say?
Yeah, in 2020. And that's when the lockdown, the first lockdown come.
Yeah.
So then it was isolated, wasn't allowed out the house. And it was hard work. So you just got your bubble in there. You couldn't even move or anything. You couldn't even see your family because they weren't allowed out the house, was
Yeah,
there?
was you living at home or was you?
No, you're in accommodation.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're in a
10-bedroomed house. So if you can imagine, you're all getting under each other's skin and all that.
Yeah, everyone's wanting to fucking do each other in and kill each other because they're fucking...
Yeah, I remember someone cutting my hair in there and it was just... It's like a mullet. So there was an hairdresser and they cut my hair. It was just but like when I went in there, I went in with all my designer clothes and thinking I was Jack the Lad again. Look at me. My ego was massive. I used to think if I start putting designer gear on and all that, everything.
Yeah.
You know, everyone will think I'm, you know.
Yeah.
And fucking hell, they went, right, get upstairs, getting lost property. Come down in a Mr. fucking Grumpy t-shirt and a pair of skinny jeans. You went, you wearing them from now on, took all my clothes off me. Said, you want to be Mr. Ego? I said, we'll show you Mr. Ego.
You're just blunt like that, yeah.
No, just give me a pair of Nicholas Deakins with holes in. Said, you wearing them? You got to wear them. And it helps. It did help. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because I grounded myself. But
yeah. So
Yeah.
from then on, you know, I was locked COVID and stuff. I want, you know, COVID, like they say. But
yeah.
after that, you know, was it how long before you could, you know, when they, you know, let everybody come out or whatever? Or
Well, I did the same again as the first time.
yeah.
So they put me in an house on my own, and then I lied. I said, work want me to come back. They didn't want me to come back, so he said, right, you can go. I said, I'm gonna have to go back to my mum and dad's. Went back to my mum and dad's again, and then it was a 9 month sober this time, and then did the same thing again. What I've always done, you know. Now I work a 12-step program. Then I wasn't working any program in my life. You know, I wasn't being honest with myself that I've got a problem. Step one's admitting I'm powerless. And I never admitted it. I just thought, you know what? I used to think all the time, if I give up drinking and doing the other stuff, what when I get married, when I go on holiday, what am I going to do then? That was always in the back of my head. And I'm never gonna stop drinking.
Yeah. Well, you were just doubting yourself, obviously, thinking.
Yeah.
I think that's with a lot of people. People don't make that first step saying they've got a problem. Like drinking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to drink every day to have a problem.
Yeah.
You can drink over a weekend and drink huge amounts. You know what I mean? Where, you know, a lot of people do, and you don't think they've got a problem.
No, for no.
And like you say, people can't remember what they've done, or they've said something to somebody, and you're like, you really upset him, your missus there, or you've upset an auntie, fucking whatever. You know what I mean?
So many times that had happened, and I'd be like, you know what you did? What are you on about? No, it didn't happen. But I went into blackout towards the end. So things what I was doing,
I
didn't know.
You were just unaware of it.
I didn't know. Didn't know at all. And then you're getting told these things. You're like, oh my god, my god. And then, you know, obviously that's when the paranoia started again. Then, you know, up for days.
Yeah.
And then this sounds mad, but got to one stage I was that paranoid. I was holding my eyelids open. Every time I blinked, I thought someone was walking across me. So I'm sat there in my house, eyes streaming. I thought, this isn't me. And I said, I'm not doing it again. 3 days, I'll be bang at it. And this dragged on till 6 months ago this year. And ever since, I was getting on for 6 months now. And I'm not touched a drop of alcohol for 6 months. And this time around now, to all the times, I'm doing things positive.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of how I'm feeling.
You're opening up.
And I'm fucking not going near any, not like my old circle, because you can't blame them. They don't force me to do it. I do it myself. But I've got to cut people off that are bad for me in my life.
And that's hard within itself anyway, because if you've been friends with someone for 20 years or whatever, you know, you can't just go, listen, John, or whatever. And sometimes if they were really, you know, in life, if they're really your friends and they can see where you've been at your lowest, you know, trying to take your own life and stuff, and that's what it can lead to. If they were a real friend, they'd take that drink out your hand, or they'd take whatever substance what you were taking or whatever. That's a proper friend. And sometimes in life, you know, you've got to go, and it's not by bluntly going, listen, I'm not going to speak to you no more. It's, you know, there's ways and means of doing things, but if they were really your friends, they wouldn't have you fucking.
Do you know what? I don't think any of these so-called mates ever did that. None of them ever did it.
Yeah.
None of them. You know, it is quite sad as well. But you know, now like when I start getting myself well and stuff like that, they're nowhere to be seen, any of these people.
Exactly.
Nowhere.
And you're doing positive things, which we're going to touch on in a sec. Like, you know, you turn your life around.
Yeah,
you know, look where you're at now, considering where you've been at, you know, and you know, you've got to take a little bit of a pat on your back to, you know, turn your life around. It's not easy. People think it's a piece of piss to just give up everything that you know, and like, you know, people dealing with torment and whatever through their lives, and then the next thing, you know, you're at it. It's like everyone lives for the weekend.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not just you. Everybody does. Everyone works, goes to work. Everyone, like a shit week in work. You know, they could be having family problems, could be having problems with the missus, or the missuses could be having problems with their husbands or whatever. And the way it's coping, I think. Yeah. Or drugs.
But like with me, living for the weekend, it was they started at that, and it was in the week, and then it was boom, and then I was missing work.
It's affecting you daily, you know.
But like me, being me, I thought it was above the law. I thought it was above everything. I thought, you know what? Be right tomorrow. I'll sleep off. I'll cope with that tomorrow. It was always tomorrow.
I'll deal with it.
Them what ifs, you know. And then, you know, I lost my job for a bit. You know.
That's dealing with it the next day. You think you can deal with it? It's all piling up.
Yeah. So I rang in work. I said, you know, it's coming up with all this stuff as well. And then they kept me working for about 2 months after I rang in sick, and that triggered a stage 4. And then for that stage 4, I had the meeting, and honest to God, there was a woman from HR there. She was scary. I've never been like with a scarier woman in my life. I walked in like that, being just me, like with a smile. She went, "What you smiling at? Sit down." Like that, me. When I sat down, when I'm speaking to her, she's typing staring at me, trying to intimidate me. And I'm thinking, he's taking the fucking piss, you know what? And then it comes to a decision, we're going to have to dismiss you. And then that's when, at the time when that happened, I was going through my work with my sponsor. And I just thought, and I was watching a lot of podcasts at the time. I thought, do you know what? Fucking doing it. I wrote it down on a piece of paper with my step work, my sponsor, everything bad that had happened to me and everything, you know what, life events. Like, and then I wrote down about me being abused, and my fucking gran read it. Left it all at her, so not my missus or anyone could see it. And that's how it come out.
So your nan blowed
you?
Yeah,
my grandma asked me and my dad to come round. So we went round to the house.
Do you have an inkling at all?
Nothing, because I thought she won't read it. I didn't expect, but I hid it perfectly.
Not your grandma, but a woman. Any woman's going to read anything you leave.
So I hid it. Well, I thought I hid it. And then she asked me and my dad to come round. So I've come round. Well, I'm thinking, something's not fucking right here.
But the both used to be going.
Yeah. I'm sat there, and she went, straight to it, she went, something you want to tell us? I went, I didn't. And I just it just clicked in my head then, and then she just, and I told him, and it was like, I can't explain the feeling. It's like the boy that happened to, come out of my voice. I cried, and it was one of the best things that has ever happened to me. By doing that, and it set me free, and it was like that young lad screamed out at me that day, and ever since then I've been free.
Well, listen, lad, you know, it takes a lot for what you've just spoke about, and to be honest, mate, building up to obviously get to this point in the, you know, explaining, you know, for your nan finding that, you might not
believe it.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't let it out.
But the way it come out, it was like it was, you know, when I said that everything was building up, it just went, and I physically felt it come out.
It was like a weight started to come out.
It was like the young lad jumped outside. It was all.
Because you built it up for that, because it happened that long ago, and then it's been inside because you've been hiding that pain, and stuff.
And then my dad was there, and then my dad went off his head. Because I didn't tell anyone at first. I've only told my mum and dad who it was.
Yeah, and your nan obviously.
Yeah, my nan knows who it was, and you know, ever since then, my dad said to me, he said it explains everything. Because a few months prior to when I spoke around it, my dad, because I went to the gym with my dad.
Yeah.
And when I was getting changed, I went into the cubicle, and my dad said, "Are you all right?" And then he noticed it because I was getting changed in the cubicle.
Like you said, when you were younger, you were doing the same when you were younger.
And he says, is that why? And then he put 2 and 2 together, and he's putting everything, what's happened.
He's putting all the pieces together.
Yeah, but he said, I was blaming myself, Brad, for always going out, having a beer and all that. I said, no, Dad. I said, it wasn't you. Because they was blaming themselves so much.
Yeah. And
do you know what? I must have threw it in the face a few times. Well, if you want to start going out in the pub, I wouldn't have been with you and all that. Because that's, I was under the influence, and I was just...
You're not thinking straight.
I was poorly. Yeah. I was very poorly, and I was just... If I could blame anyone else to take the heat off me, I would. And then that's when I shared around it. And you know what? That's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. Best thing. The feeling of having something there removed, it was...
Living with that pain.
Yeah.
And I think with a lot of people who do suffer in silence, and this is the problem where people, they feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
They feel like people won't believe them.
Yeah.
They feel like, it's a Jack and Ori. It's and this, that and the other. But like you're saying there, that release, how you felt, that young boy that was, that was there, it's come out, and you've had to, because with what you're doing now, and stuff, and your dad, and I've spoke to your dad, and he's a lovely fella, do you know what I mean? He's a great fella, and I've had the honour of meeting him, and we spoke, and we've had a good chat, and and we've got similar things that and he spoke to me, and I was very honoured to obviously be asked to come up and speak to your group and stuff, and stuff that's gone on within our family, and touching on what has happened to you. And your dad has had exactly how I felt. Yeah. I
remember that when he...
And I said to your dad, I said, listen, at the end of the day, you can't blame... And like you're saying, he was blaming himself. And that's what me and my... it's just for you to speak about it, and for you to... This is why, and then your dad's putting the pieces together. You go to changing cubicle, and... this is why, and this is how he's doing, and he can understand, because at the time you think, you're just a young lad going through as like young lads do, and like young girls do. They go out and they're drinking, and you're thinking, you're overdoing it this week, fucking turn in a little bit, have a weekend or something or whatever. But really inside, it's something.
But you see, it's the podcast as well, watching people's stories that helped me as well. Yeah, that just watching them helped me open up and realise what had happened.
That's exactly the same that happened to me as well. It's mad. I was watching James English's podcast, and I was saying before to you and Emma and stuff, I could relate to certain guests that had been on his on his podcast, and I was liking his content. I was sharing his content. I was relating to it, and he started following me, and then I was like, "This is a wind up, this." And then we started speaking and stuff, and then we became friends and stuff, and it's just different things where you can just watch a podcast, whether it be on YouTube or you listen to a podcast on Spotify, anybody's podcast out there.
We should put a specific one on, and it relates to you. And it's that, like, you pick a random one,
and then you think,
and something jumps out. That's what it was.
It's weird, isn't it?
Weird.
But like I say, with your opening up and stuff, and it got you to the place where you're at now, and it's like your group that you've created, Failsworth and Oldham Walking Unity group. And what a great bunch of people, mate. Like you say, you asked me to come up and to do a talk to the group. I was fucking didn't know what to talk about.
It was a good turnout.
It was a fantastic turnout. I was saying before 2 years, I was that nervous. I think I pulled my boxies over my jeans, like, because I couldn't believe how many people were coming in. I was thinking, why are all these people coming to listen to me? And you know what?
Though? I put it out there, and I feel like that you was coming. A few people watch your podcast as well. And it's good. It's good what you're doing. It is good what you're doing, and similar stories as well. And that's what links us. That's what links us together, and it gets people speaking more.
This is why we created the podcast, because we wanted real people with real stories, and it's great having a couple of well-known people on and stuff like that. But people like yourself, people like we know we've all, because we're all real people and we've all have stories, whether it be the good, the bad, or the ugly. That's why our podcast is called that. But relating to certain situations, what goes on in everyday life, your circumstances, I know for a fact people will reach out, and we'll put all obviously your socials and stuff in the description. That's so people can reach out to your group and stuff. And there's other groups that can obviously might want to hook up, but obviously your group that you've created, you must be so fucking proud, mate.
Oh, I am, mate. Honestly, like when I was in the madness, like I call it the madness now because it was my madness. I always used to like go for walks or whatever, to sort my head out.
Would you go on your own?
Yeah, just go on my own. Or like when I was having my bad days with my mental health and stuff like that, I always want to go with someone because I was paranoid then, thinking someone could come behind me and so stuff like that. And then I put 2 and 2 together and I thought, you know what? I did a post on Facebook. Like I'm thinking of setting up a walking group every Sunday. And 700 people shared it on Facebook, shared it for me. And then the first walk, I think about 20 come on the first walk. And then we just started growing and growing. I think we got a walk on about 4 or 5 times a week now.
Yeah.
And people got how many did my admin team now? Got an admin team at work underneath. I think there's about 14 in it. And they're just in charge.
Everyone's got their own specific
job. They're
job.
Just in charge.
Because for you to do that on your own, Brad.
I was doing it at first and I was like, doing my recovery, doing everything. My head was like,
Bright Crane on, and like it's exactly the same. We were driving and that.
Yeah.
And GoPro Bright Crane, he's a good mate of mine, and he was on and he went, Tony, me working full time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to,
it's
do
hard,
this.
it's
Family
hard.
life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's trying to, and then but he doesn't want to let nobody down.
No, we're not.
And he was like, someone could message the page, that person might need help.
Yeah.
And like yourself, just always thinking and always.
Yeah.
And now they've got a little team, a little committee, I think.
But it's good though, like, never thought to myself like we're having team meetings. I never thought to an engineer really. We have little meetings
but you've got to though.
But it's just the aim of it is to help people. And on the first walk, there was a woman that come on the walk. She's not been out the house in 5 years. And she come on our walk, seen us and come out the house. And there's an old guy, John, that comes on our walks. His missus died. And he didn't leave the house. And he's out with us every walk now. And he's a different variety of ages on it. And it's so rewarding.
It's not you're just young people. It's across the board.
Yeah. And we do things for the community. We're going home, caring homes and stuff like that. Spend a bit of time with them and stuff like that.
You might not have relatives that go in, you might not see anyone or.
No, it's and you hear some of the stories. There's a woman there who's 99. She's telling us the stories from the war, and you're like, wow. And it just brings you, it just grounds you a bit more going into them places. And with I was feeding the homeless every Monday. So all the grass and all the edges needed cutting. So I put it on my group. Big team was turning up, did all petrol lawnmowers. I was in the bush with a chainsaw, fell in the bushes with a chainsaw and nearly cut my head off. I know, mate, honestly. But it's just the group what I've got. If you ever need someone to rely on, there's always someone in that group that you can rely on. Any hours, they're up and they'll help you.
This is it. It's like
it's my friends forever. This now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you're saying there, where if you were on your own, you've got your work life, you've got life in general where you're doing your day-to-day things, but also you couldn't them hours in the middle of the night where someone could be struggling, bang straight away. Someone's in that group going, "I hear whoever, John or whatever." Yeah, listen, mate, we're out in the morning, or listen, get yourself, or or they're talking to them. You might just need that. Bit of response.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And that's what with your little committee or whatever it is. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it's good as well because on Facebook we have all our events on Facebook. So if you can keep an eye on up and coming events, so you know not to miss them and stuff like that. And we tend to do a big walk every so often, but we colour coordinate the walks. So we do a green one, which is easier, amber, medium. So people know to get the boots on or not. If you're going on a bit of a ramble.
Mount Everest or whatever they're going to.
But and then the last Monday of every month, we do a mental health meeting, and that's where you come and share. That's where you came down, did you talk?
Yeah.
So we've got normally we have like a team. I've got a team of mental first aiders and people that are trained in stuff like that. And they help people. So we just do stuff like that. And since you come down doing the main talk, we set that now at like main shares all the time because it did so well. So you're the first person that come down to the main talk.
You know what? I couldn't believe how many people come. I was like,
mate,
come with our kid and Chris.
Yeah.
And obviously the hospitality was brilliant, you know what I mean? He's looked after us, and I couldn't believe when he said to me, come, and I was like, yeah, of course we will, and all that. And I've got to tell this story because before we came down to the to where you have the meetings and stuff like that, we went into this boozer. We were only having a Coke and that. And we walked in, me and Chris, and the fucking pub went dead. The whole pub went dead, and they were all looking at like me and Chris and that. And then our kid come in, our Marty come in, and he went, where's the toilet? And these two fellas were like looking at us, and I just looked at them and went, listen mate, we're not the police, you know. Because we were drinking Cokes, we were all like, Chris had like a Gillis, so like he was just, and then Chris went at the bar, evening officer, and I was like, what did you say that for? You know what I mean? And then we got speaking to these lads and stuff. They were sound, the lads, and they were like, what are you up here for? And we mentioned yourself, and he went, oh, that's at the back of that pub down there and whatever. And then we came, and you know what? It was unbelievable because, like I said to you, Brad, I don't know what, you know, when I could sort this year, my experience,
like the door was going like that, people.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. And then all the chairs that were set up were filled up and that. And
we had to get more chairs out of the cupboard at the back.
Yeah, it was something that, like I said to me missus when I said I couldn't believe it. She went, I said, it made me feel, my experience of that, I shared, like, you know, with stuff that I've had going on in my life, but with my family and stuff. And then at the end, when I'd done it, the amount of questions that were after, I was like...
You got a woman that reached out to you, didn't she? It's not spoke around it, and she spoke. And
that lady was just like...
Yeah.
And just people like before we left and that were like, thank you. And I was like, you don't need to thank me. I'm just like a normal person who just comes and but it was great to see people get something from it. And if that one person got, and that's what I said on the way up when we were driving up. If one person gets something from this, giving you the time up for a couple of hours.
That's all it is. It's giving back, innit?
Just give exactly, and it was fucking brilliant. If I'm going to be honest, you know what I mean. So I want to thank you for that. But I want to speak about your new space, your hub for the community safe place.
So we've got an office now as well. So our office is I've got my admin team in there now. So I'm going to do little. We're going to have movie nights, and we've just been donated a big 12 seater with our logo stitched on it and stuff like that. And I've pinched your idea to start doing podcasts.
No, listen, mate, I'm going to wish you all the luck with it, mate, and we'll help you as much as we can. Well, you know what I mean?
So I think doing this is the next chapter in there. So we've got our own little space in the corner for doing stuff like that, for doing this. And it's just bringing people together. It's going to be a safe place for people in the community as well if they need to come and talk to someone. You know, because, you know, the services out there, they're not the best at the minute, are they?
They're not, but let's be honest, there's the communities and the government don't really, I'm going to be honest, and they don't really help people who are in dire straits, you know what I mean? And it's like people like yourself, people like I said, Bride, there's people, you know, in certain areas, these people give the time up to help people. The government should be doing things like this.
Yeah, I know.
But, you know, people like yourself, you're saving people's lives, let's be brutally honest. Because like you're saying, that gentleman there lost his wife. He hadn't been out the house for 5 years. Or the lady hadn't been out the house for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, without you starting that group, she would have been locked in the house another 5 years.
No.
And you know what I mean? She's not speaking to no one.
Seeing them coming on the walks more often. Exactly. That is all what it's about. It's about giving that bit back in it. And you know, it's so rewarding.
That's what I was going to say. You get a buzz in that.
The buzz every time. But like, when you go on there, there's more people and they're like, yeah, we've seen your videos on TikTok. And I'm like, you know, like that.
Yeah.
I was in the pub the other week. Well, not drinking, but I was watching United in the pub. Some kid come over to me, said, can I have a picture? And I was like, I've seen your videos on TikTok. I thought he was taking a mick. He was being deadly serious. I was like, all right, really? But I just like people recognising me for doing the right things rather than the wrong things now.
And listen, we all make mistakes in life. And it's how you turn that round. And, you know, because, listen, no one's perfect.
No.
We're not robots.
Yeah.
You're not programmed to do good all, you know.
No.
You know, the world would be a fantastic place if everyone...
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. But sometimes you've got to go through a certain thing in life which goes bang and it just triggers.
Yeah.
And, you know, look, some people aren't big enough to own it and go, look, I've fucked up here. Loads of times, mate. Loads of times. Never perfect. Do you know what I mean?
And
but,
you know, seeing my mum's face now.
Yeah.
That is because honestly, I made that woman so poorly. Like really, really, she lost so much weight. I think she was close to giving up at some certain points because she couldn't see me do it to myself anymore.
Just obviously the limit she pushed it to.
But she used to sleep with her door open to try and catch me from sneaking out. And she was missing work. She wasn't sleeping.
She was tight because she was worried sick about you, yeah.
And, you know, to see where she is now, so rewarding. She's going on holidays with her friends. She's enjoying herself. And
she's back to him.
You know what? She can actually look at me and say she loves me now. I can hug me, mum. I can never.
She probably loved you anyway, but what you were putting her through, she's probably like, what can you push her to the limit here? Yeah. Probably always.
I was always pushing her away because I didn't like. Yeah. Showing emotion around me. I didn't like that. But now I can give her a hug. Like it's mad. I've got my feelings back. I feel like a human being rather than just this tin man. It's just me nothing in him. Yeah,
that's how you said that. It's like there was like the tin man who had nothing here. Yeah. But now you've got like this, you know, what you've done, what you've created.
Yeah.
And you've got to take a lot of credit for that and be proud of yourself. Yeah. And
it's just growing as well.
That's it.
It's like, I think we've got 1,400 or 1,500 members. And it got some unbelievable people on the group. You know, it just keep pushing through it. I just want the best. And if like we got walk leaders as well, even when it's hammering it down in rain, if they're out there because they say someone might come who's really struggling. So it's about making that step to help people, innit?
Do you know what? That's like we had another guest on Michael Panish the other day, and he said exactly the same. Yeah. He said some Sundays I don't want to get up. He said, but if I don't get up and one person turns up, I'm there so they can speak to me.
We've got Amy. She does a walk at 5:30 in the morning to help people before work. And we've got Jen. She commits nearly every night to do walks
after work. Like
she walks. Yeah, she finishes at 5, logs off, gets ready, and goes straight on the walk. And it's just like
someone might have had a shit end of a day, and they just need to talk.
But she's like our little mascot when she's out and about. She's coming up to people like that. But you know, when she sees people that look like they're struggling, she approaches them. And we're getting them. She's getting people to come with us now, and it's like
she's on the streets, like
But that's our next thing now to be going out there proper.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start going into. I've got a date to go into schools and share my story in schools now.
Yeah,
as well.
That's brilliant.
Believe it or not, because I was the Manchester Evening News, the newspaper.
Yeah, I've seen your article.
I had an article in there, and a teacher, one of my teachers from Failsworth School, when I was in there, she's seen it and she popped up to me and I started speaking to her. And she went, and we started talking. She went, would you be interested in coming in school? I said, absolutely.
But you know what, Brad, going into schools, that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Because like you said, in year 9, that's when I started sort of going hard, you know. And it does happen because kids start, you know, going into little, like the groups and stuff, and they start, but like I said, we had a couple of teachers reach out to Keelan, and it was unbelievable. I remember him messaging me, and he said they don't want to hear the teachers talk from a what's-her-name on the board.
Yeah.
You know, they want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Yeah, people who've lived it. Yeah. It's, you know, the dangers. And your story will obviously help people who've obviously, before they make them mistakes, you know, they might think it's big. Like these things now with the balloons and all that. And from that, to, you know, from one thing to another thing and it leads to another. But it could be, and look, you've lived it. You know what I mean? And look what it's, you know, it's your mum, your dad, you know, and now you've come out the other side, lucky enough. And there's some kids that don't come out the other side. They go and miss, you know what I mean? So,
and it's like in rehab as well. There's people when I was in there, they died now. They're not here no more. And it's like, looking back now, that could be me if I don't work a program and I don't change my life.
That could have been you,
yeah. And it's sad because they say 1 out of 3 people, one dies, one relapses, and one survives.
Turns the life around and whatever. And, you know,
so it's 1 in 3 and there's 10 in a group. So that's, you can imagine.
That's sad. Yeah. What would your advice be to any young men, women out there abusing drink and substances?
Stay away from it. Stay away from it. get an hobby and stick at it. Stick with right people, you know, and don't listen to those people that try and say, come on, come with us. Do everything on your own will. Never be a sheep. Always be a leader.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, you know, the advice there, it's, you know, for kids, it is kids today, they just, you know, it's like us all when we were kids, you think you know it, don't you?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, you say, it gets a grip here and you don't think you've got a problem.
No.
And then it just spirals out of control, which...
It happens fast because you get old fast, don't you? I'm 28 now, and this has been going on. It's just gone like that because I spent most of my life in places what aren't very good. You know, in crack houses, in pubs, in places. You know, trying to be wrong people.
Yeah,
and that's where most of my. It's not good.
Come out the other side. And that's the best thing to.
Yeah.
Who's been your biggest supporters? I know you can obviously, since you've changed your life down, well, been through the lot.
Do you know what? I'd say all my family have been brilliant, but my granddad, God bless him, he was he passed away this time last Christmas, and he got to see me turn my life around. But he used to always follow me. He used to fucking, and he used to sit there and he'd grill me. He would grill me. And I'm going to tell you,
was he old school, your granddad? Yeah.
But where I work now, he did 49 years, and I'm the fifth generation to work on the railway. So when I was younger, growing up in school, I was a little
yeah.
So a bus come, and I was at the chipper, you know, like on the side of the bus, is that red buzzer
to press the doors
open, a load of chips went through him at the driver. The bus is going off. And Granddad's on the back of the bus like that. So, you know, just
only you that,
yeah. And then finished school. He's at home waiting for me.
You got something to fucking sell me or something like that.
But you know, it's passed away now, and it was what a man he was.
And obviously your granddad, he only wanted the best for you. You know what I mean? And that's why.
But I never did any wrong in his eyes. If anyone ever said out,
no, it's not our blood.
No, don't you dare have a go at him and all that. But if it was just me on my own, it'd give it me, and that's, you know, it's like the last proper day out with him. I went to York Railway Museum, you know, just building memories like that. But if I was in the madness, that wouldn't have existed.
You would have liked him. You would have made an excuse to not go.
I thought, fucking hell, I wish I would have seen him before he died. I wouldn't have gone to the hospital because I would have been using on that to try and block the pain out.
So your mum, your granddad obviously played a big part. He'd always supported you. Your grandma and stuff. Yeah. Your mum and dad.
Yeah, my mum and dad, they've all been brilliant. And Emma, I'd say Emma has as well, yeah.
It's Emma, what a fucking... You met her in rehab and you stuck by, and she's part of the group, plays a big part.
She's been amazing, she has. Her and Maxine have been amazing.
They've both been playing a big part in your...
Yeah.
Brad, I just want to, you know, what's in the pipeline for Brad Robinson?
Time to get on these podcasts, and going to keep expanding, keep getting in them schools, reaching out, and getting out to the youths as well. You know, trying to get to them before it gets too late. Going to keep trying. You know, that's all we can do.
Sharing positivity and keeping people.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep cracking on with my step work as well. I'm going to take somebody else through the work. Just be there. You know, that's all I want to do. That's all I've got a purpose in life, helping people. And I love it.
Brilliant, mate. And it's great that I'm honoured that you came on and shared, you know.
It's been a privilege, mate. Thank you.
The good, the bad and the ugly, mate, Brad. Listen, nice one, mate.
Thank you, mate. Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
This week's episode is sponsored by Zorb Events Limited. They provide Zorb football, battle tag archery, UV dodgeball, sports days events, inflatable assault courses, plus many, many more activities coming soon. Ideal for sports teams, presentations, birthday parties, stag and hen parties, corporate events, school, and half-term summer camps, any occasions. Give them a follow and use the code The Good, The Bad and The Ugly Podcast for 10% off your first booking. The Good, The Bad and The Ugly Podcast with Tony Morell.